We today are going to wrap up our 2021 season review of the NFC with the North, the conference where or the division in which the number one seed from the NFC came from. Let's get today going. Yes. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me on FTB Sports, presenting Through the Table, an NFL podcast. Oh, man. Today's going to be a good day. First, bringing in my co-host, Donnie Shoemaker, my
What's
friend.
going on, Brett?
How we doing, mate?
Oh man, dude. Actually, I had a pretty good week. Spring break, so heck yeah. And dude, I mean, I know we're still a couple weeks or like a couple months out, but man, we're getting a lot of news.
Oh, man.
Right?
I
I mean, shit, dude.
All right.
Something to be excited about.
For everybody who joined us last week and everything, today we're talking NFC North.
Is that what we're talking about?
We're talking NFC North. And the winners of the NFC North. I just happen to be brothers with a man who is a cheesehead. Jeremiah, my brother.
Yep.
Sir, how we doing, man?
Doing good.
Dude,
Ready to jump in here and see how my Packers are going to run this division this year.
Yeah.
Shoot, you got the weapons now, for sure.
Right?
We'll see
All
about
right,
the
before
cap
we get
space
started,
too.
Do you think Aaron threw that game?
No. No,
Really?
no,
from a fan,
no.
because I know you're a diehard cheesehead.
He didn't throw the game. He did nothing all off season, and his mind was right. His body was just not keeping up with what his mind was doing, and that's why he looked so disgruntled on the field, because he's like, this is easy. I wasn't even thinking about it. I can do this. It's just,
For
well,
real, right?
you took time off. I mean, come on, bro. And then you go back and you look at the week after that, and that was probably, I didn't look. Stats aren't fresh in my mind, but I'm willing to bet that game after was one of his top 3 or 4 games all year. So
No, I'm talking about the playoff game.
no, he didn't throw that game.
How do you go 30 points though, and then you throw 10 in the playoffs?
Did you watch the same defense I watched?
I mean, I did watch that game.
I mean, garbage. That's what that is. That's garbage defense.
I'm just saying you should have crushed. Not just crushed. You should have humiliated San Francisco, man.
Go back and look at the last 3 times we've gone out to San Francisco. Watch that game and tell me how home field advantage is going to do any different. We got obliterated and didn't even look like we belonged on the field.
Well, y'all do have trouble with San Francisco.
So
yeah.
So does
we sure do. We had a bye week. 2 years ago we had a bye week and still got crushed by like 30. Yeah. I mean, it's depressing.
Yeah, anybody who joined us on our first installment of the 2021 season review, we started off with the NFC West and the division of said San Francisco 49ers. And Renee said the same thing in regards to her Rams, that San Francisco team, it doesn't matter like how unimpressive that team is. Like they're just one of those teams that they're gonna screw things up, and if you give them one, I know we're not talking about baseball here, but I remember back when there was a series with the Yankees and the Red Sox, and I forget the gentleman's name, Jeremiah. You can probably remember his name. Who was the guy for Boston Red Sox that said, "Don't let us win one"?
Somebody's excited baseball's back.
Don't let us win
Yeah,
one. They were down to the Yankees 3-0.
Shoot,
And he was
man.
like, "Don't let us win one." And then Boston comes back. They win all 4. And San Francisco's kind of like that with a few teams. Green Bay's one of them.
yeah,
It's just they're
for sure.
rubbish. But
For sure.
so with that, we'll save the Green Bay Packer talk. We'll
What's
just
up, Rance?
here we go. Got some comments. We got Mr. Silva Fox. This is the gentleman that did that intro video. Jeremiah, so this is the guy I was talking about, telling you that did our video. This is him. He great guy, man. Appreciate everything he does. He's
You upgraded our show like a million
guy,
times,
man.
for real.
You got my dad.
Like we're like
the unholy
and
trinity.
Did that intro and they were like, okay, shoot, man, this might be an actual show.
No, it wasn't Big Poppy. It was one of the like utility players.
Might have been like Nick. I don't know. It sounds like maybe
I'd have to
Trap
watch
Nixon or something. Maybe
30 for 30 again.
Dude, have you seen that Buffalo Bills
I watched it
documentary on Disney?
It's called the
Fall. That was like
the 4 Falls of Buffalo.
Yeah.
It's
I watched
that 30 for 30. Yeah.
It's,
no, it's different. It's not the 30 for 30.
It is the 30 for 30.
Is it? I thought it was.
It's on Disney because Disney owns ESPN.
Okay. Because I saw I watched that one like years ago. I just saw it recently on Disney, but I didn't click on it.
Every time I watch it,
Star Wars.
Sorry, people. I cry. I cry very many different types of tears during that documentary. It is beautiful.
It makes me think, man, Bert really is a football fan when I watch that documentary.
My dad's telling Mr. Silva, good job. Yep, he did. I really thank you for that, man. Yeah, okay. So the Minnesota Vikings, 8-9. So that's probably what. Now that there's this extra game, we used to call the NFL an 8-8 league, right? So what kind of league is it now, man? Is it an 8-9 league, or is it a 10-10 or 9-8 league? Because did we just downgrade the league by adding an extra game? Because I think this is an 8-9 league now.
I think
it's a losing league. I think it's a losing league.
They did it for a reason, which is money. But because I mean, come on, it was like
they don't make enough
players, so we don't have. We're gonna cut one preseason game,
but we're gonna add a regular.
We're gonna
add a real game. Yeah, that makes sense.
But you're also adding an extra playoff team too, so you're adding more games than what you're taking away. But player safety is the main priority. Well, we're not here to rail on that.
I know we shouldn't say hatred, but like my main dislike is that kind of messes with the records from previous players, right? Now you're getting one more game, and is that fair to say that those? I mean, I get it, like different time, different era, but like you have a record for a 16 game, 17 game league, right? And all of a sudden you get one more.
Yeah, I mean it's going to find its spot like kind of wonky the way baseball does. You have these records in shorter games. Now you have this longer season. Now are we going to take games away? It's like
right now.
It's one game. I mean, it's one game. Sure.
That's stupid. It's a season based on series. Why do the Yankees have to play Boston for the right to go to the playoffs? Why? Because they added this stupid little wild card thing.
The playing game,
where a whole season is determined by series. You're going to put a playoff where you got the wild card, but hey, there's this new rule where you're going to play a one-off against a team that didn't make the playoffs. Like,
I mean, look at Indy. They lost. They got taken out of the playoffs that last game.
But anyway,
Yeah.
back to Minnesota.
And on a side note, I think I might be a baseball fan, man. I've been watching some games on YouTube and some like videos. And I'm like, man, you know what? This game might be pretty dang cool.
Heck yeah, it is.
Yeah,
My
just
boss
gotta...
is a huge Dodgers fan, so like,
Ugh, I'm sorry to hear that.
That's okay.
it's all right.
It's all right. But Minnesota, problem on the defensive side of the ball, which you look at Minnesota, you would think defense. That's what like all of us who have been like defense first. But the league's changing, so everybody kind of wants to go offense first. But like, dude, as we saw, defense and running the effing football is what's going to win you games, man. I understand you do have to evolve with the changing in the game, but that's just expanding it. It doesn't mean you abandon the run and you don't focus on defense no more. We don't want the Big 12 in the NFL. The Big 12 is trash, falling apart, but they gave you 63, 59 games. And woo, that's exciting. No, it's not, because half the game I'm yelling at the defense. If you're a fan of a team, you are yelling at your team who's giving up a lot of points.
Oh yeah,
Even
All
if
the
you
time,
win,
yeah.
you are
100%,
angry.
100%.
You are angry.
Because you can be awesome on
so
offense,
many
but
points.
gosh,
So yeah, the defense gave up 384 yards a game. Like that's not going to win you very many games. But yet, 8-9.
it's the added
cool
game.
as
I don't
they were.
think I know they're gonna make it to the playoffs, but really, like, do they deserve it because of this new thing? This new game.
Well, here's the thing. Minnesota's going to be outside, I think, looking in, because if you really
You don't
look
think
at
they're
it,
gonna get the wild card?
well, we'll get to that when we talk about Chicago.
Kind of want side note one more time. All right, Mr. Smeal, then who should I be watching? You tell me, as far as baseball is concerned.
Oh, are you kidding me, dude? My dad's a Jersey guy. He's a New York fan. Queens, bro.
Okay.
New York, Queens, man. The Mets. He's going to tell you to watch the Mets. Or maybe he won't, because
I will tell you,
they
your
bring him
dad
a
is
lot
a
of
diehard
misery.
fan, whatever team he has, and that's where you guys got it from. Your whole family's diehard fans.
Yeah, well.
What's up, better half?
Yes, better half is correct. Yes.
His Jets are testing.
I threw you under the bus with that last comment, but then
You
the
did.
next one, I'm trying to like
You did, but
gain some
it's
points,
all good.
bro. Gain some points.
And then Minnesota, they did have a healthy Delvin Cook for once.
For the
Which
first
is
year
gonna
in like
help
3
them.
years.
They had another wide receiver, right, that had been banged up previously that stayed healthy.
Creeping.
Because they had two good offensive players that stayed healthy, which thank goodness for that. Well, if you're a Minnesota fan, thank goodness. You know, for
They
that.
have a better coaching staff now.
Cousins, I rail on Cousins, but 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He threw for over 4,000 yards.
You can't say that's trash.
I'm not saying we upgrade Kirk Cousins and we change our opinion of him, but as far as his quarterback performance, like, he definitely stepped up, put on his big boy pants, and played some professional quarterback of the NFL. Like,
shoot, if you get traded by the Commanders and
no, the football team.
I had to think a little bit. I had to say what the right name was.
I mean, I'll still call them what they are. I mean, I ain't trying to get nobody in trouble on here, but I mean, I'll still call them what they are.
I mean, I said the name and that shall not be said again last week. But like,
no,
man.
I won't call him that, because Dan Snyder's an idiot and he fought to keep that name. So I won't refer to that name. I would call them the football team. I think
that was a better name than the Commanders.
Dan Snyder's a horrible owner.
But if you go and you get traded to a better team, like, as far as like statistics and pretty much overall just general eye test. And then, I don't have that much faith in him, but he's got a new head coach, so maybe
he definitely proved
trickle down effect.
He's definitely an adequate quarterback, and he definitely put out stats where if you're Minnesota, you're not looking to make a quarterback change.
I don't think they can with the way the cap
Not
is.
with those stats. Well, with those stats, you can't make a quarterback change.
So
Yeah.
So like Minnesota, you're a Minnesota fan. I mean, I don't know how high your hopes are for next year because, I mean, we'll talk about them later. But Green Bay, you have to assume they're the foregone winner of that division. So if you're Minnesota, you're fighting for a wild card spot, and you are many years removed from Stephon Diggs' miracle.
gosh.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
I don't think they're
in my opinion.
I think Chicago's in a better position
No.
to take the wild
No
card.
way.
Absolutely not.
Minnesota is.
Oh my gosh.
But Minnesota, if they can best, here's what I'll say. If Minnesota can best Chicago, it'll be Minnesota making the playoffs, not Chicago. I'm not saying they'll both get in. I won't say that. My backing of Chicago will be if they don't make it, it'll be because Detroit took their spot. I'm not saying they are a foregone conclusion to get the wild card.
So is Green Bay not exist, or
it's Chicago or Minnesota who
I think
grab
in the
one of
division
wild card spots.
okay, we're talking about wild card spots.
I think in our
it's
division.
Green Bay's division, like
Yeah.
Well,
we'll talk about Adams when we get to Green Bay, but I think still it's Green Bay's division.
I think though, I mean, honestly, I think
you both like Minnesota over Chicago.
Oh, for sure, definitely. I think the Vikings are the second best. I think the Vikings are the second best team in the conference. I don't think they have the second best roster.
Whoa!
I don't think they have the best
conference.
Oh,
the division. My bad, division.
Oh,
okay. I was like,
my fault.
Man, like, shoot. What do you know that I don't?
Well, I think,
dude, right?
Well, I mean,
I
got a bunch of Minnesota friends.
I got a bunch
of Viking fans.
Right down the road, man.
They are consistent. They are a fighter
but
team.
I think they're. I think the Vikings. I think the Vikings are gonna be. The Vikings have the very realistic potential of being a 10-win team. The other two teams in the division are not winning 10 games. Chicago's not winning 10 games. Yeah. Chicago ain't winning 10 games, and the Lions are just trash. They're garbage.
But this is also.
I mean, the Packers are going to go.
They might be the new Jets.
Well, hold on.
The Packers are going to win 13 or 14.
Minnesota,
they're not good.
Defense during the draft, or
what's that?
They, is this with the assumption of a Minnesota improved defense? This is why I give Chicago the edge, because their defense is better than Minnesota.
They lost Khalil Mack. They're garbage. Khalil Mack's gone. Khalil Mack's gone. That Chicago defense is gone.
Khalil Mack was the all and all on that Chicago
defense. He's probably so happy.
Defense.
He thought he was going to die.
Khalil Mack was not used.
As a Bear.
Khalil Mack was not used right in Chicago.
On that Chicago defense. You can take him away, and that Chicago defense is the same.
I'm not going to argue that.
Which was better than Minnesota's defense.
What I'm saying, though, is Chicago wouldn't have missed him if he wasn't on the field, and he knew he was getting shipped out last year. But they had to put him on the field because you can't let a guy making that salary on the bench.
No.
So he wasn't getting a fair shake on the field, and he wasn't trying because he knew there's no point because all he's getting rewarded with is a trade at the end of the year.
No, right. But my point was still that Chicago defense with an unmotivated Khalil Mack was still better than the Minnesota defense. So my question...
I think Minnesota was decent.
Hold on. So my question, can Minnesota's defense jump Chicago's defense
Yes.
with their draft picks, or
Yes.
are we
They're
going
already
to
better right now.
Or are we?
I think they're already better.
Chicago's defense is still.
They
bad.
don't have their main. They don't have Mac.
But
He was
he
the only
wasn't
thing that
doing
made that
back
defense
anything because he was unmotivated.
even scary just a little bit.
The Minnesota Vikings have the best front seven in the division.
Is Trubisky still throwing the ball for them?
Trubisky's throwing the ball for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
What?
Well, we can.
You have to remember.
I thought the Steelers had.
Mitch Trubisky was a backup quarterback in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So he's throwing the ball for the Bears.
Justin Fields.
Field.
Yeah, it was Fields.
I got
when
some.
Trubisky got shipped to Buffalo
Okay.
because Chicago got Fields. Buffalo
But-
wants nothing to do with Trubisky.
Minnesota needs to improve their
Or
O
Trubisky
line
wants
and
something
throw
to
a
do
couple
with
players
Buffalo.
on defense, and I think they'll. I mean, they've almost made it pretty much consistently on the last couple of years, and honestly, I think they've always been a half decent team. You know, I mean, but it's hard going against Aaron Rodgers and saying like we're gonna make the playoffs through our division because that's not gonna happen. I mean, the dude's got to retire. And that's unfortunate for but it's just like that's how it goes. If you're that caliber player, then
Two-time MVP, back-to-back MVP.
Well, I'm not going to argue about that. That's a shit,
but I mean, I think Minnesota's defensive problems are all linked to they just need more consistent, steady play. One game they're relying too much on the front seven. They're going to add a piece in the draft with their pick. They're going to get another edge rusher. That's going to give them more stability for the D-line. Harrison in the secondary is getting old. That man needs more consistent depth. And, get depth. Get another secondary guy that can play.
Could they solve that with their second pick? Or do you think can they solve that with the second pick, or do you think they'll do that in free agency? Or if that goes by the wayside, Minnesota doesn't get the wild card.
Well, as long Minnesota's going to address their defensive line with a draft, their first round pick, they're going to get an edge rusher.
No, I agree with you. I think,
and that's going to stabilize their front seven.
Minnesota rush.
Their front seven is going to have more. They're going to have a more stable depth chart with drafting another edge rusher.
So with
the secondary, I don't know. The two
with the draft, or will they probably have to go to free agency?
The 2 or 3 big secondary commodities have been very quickly acquired.
Right.
So I don't know if there's anything worth this early. I don't know if they want to take the risk on a free agent, or they're just going to say, we'll trade up at the end of day one. We'll get at the back end of the draft in the first round. And we'll address the secondary. We'll get a safety who can play a little corner. At the end of the first round, we'll trade up.
If you're in Minnesota's draft room then, right, that guy that you just described, he's 2 picks away. There's another pick you'll have before you grab him. So do you go interior defensive lineman just to, hey, if you can't get a guy to cover, let's get a guy to put pressure?
No, they're going to get a defense. They're going to get a D lineman first.
No, that next pick.
Next pick, they'll get
pick between you get that secondary guy and you get that.
Do you really think
rusher,
they're going to get a defensive player in the first round?
Yeah, they have to.
I just think Rodgers is good enough to stay in the pocket. I think they need to protect him a little bit more if they're going to move.
The offense.
I think what Minnesota, obviously, I'm Packers, so
So you don't want to fix the problem.
I don't even want your picks to be good. Yeah.
Hopefully
don't take this with a grain of salt. But I think Minnesota
in the first round.
I think Minnesota's gonna.
I get it.
Minnesota's going to address their D line.
Issue, Minnesota. Your long snapper sucks.
Yeah.
He's your first pick to get a long snapper.
I mean, he's one of the better guys in the league. But anyway, I think Minnesota is going to address, after their D-line, I think Minnesota's going to address their needs based on the best available player. So if the secondary guy's there, they're going to take him. If the offensive lineman, the interior, if there's an interior guy that can play all three positions or play two of the three, then I think they'll get him. There's a lot of quality offensive linemen. There's a lot of good wide receivers. When they get to their pick, that may determine them trading up. Is there more commodity on the secondary, or is there more commodity on the offensive line? And whoever has more,
right? But just to clarify, you mean best available player based on need? Like if the best available
based on what they need to draft,
a linebacker or running back, that's not the guy they're taking.
No.
They're going to take.
They could be. Right. They could be a very interesting team in the draft with trading picks.
No, they do it right. And I'm not saying that I think Chicago is the foregone conclusion for the wild card. I know. Hold on. We'll get to Chicago. I know you have a special affinity hate for Chicago than like any other team in the division, but bear with me. But they do this draft right, like you're saying. Minnesota's not that far behind Chicago. It could be a coin flip. But
I don't think Minnesota's far behind Green Bay, but
they're past Chicago. Okay,
whoa, they are. They're miles far.
Yes, they are.
All right, we're gonna be done with Chicago. So let's go. I'm going to.
We're like right here now, going this way.
Some of the comments real quick, and I know we showed this one, but I just want to show it again. Dad thinks this is an awesome Penn State shirt that Jay's wearing.
Yeah,
it is Penn State. I mean, it's not the U. It's not the U.
Well, it is for wrestling, so.
Oh, dude,
somebody's got to be the favorite son.
We got Devils United. Maisie, the beautiful person. She does a wonderful YouTube channel. She covers Manchester United as a whole. She covers both the men's and the women's side. So if you want some women's Manchester United contact, I highly recommend you go over, you talk to Maisie. Beautiful lady there.
I'm gonna tell you, you're a chick. You said that.
She's watching us live.
You want it today, buddy.
Here's Napoon. Napoon has jumped with us a few times. He's a really, really good friend of mine. Huge Chelsea supporter. Very, very good bloke. Telling us all big up. Saying hi to Maisie. Maisie saying hi. My other half. You mean
where is she?
You mean my better half is what you mean. We had a friend called and she needed Renee. So
friends come first, man.
Renee went to go tend to her friend. So, she's, nothing going on. She just had to go help a friend. Nice to see some other fans on the line today. That's right. Yeah, thanks, Macy. Adding to it. Hey, man, you deserve all the kind words. Telling you that. All right, so let's go here.
Oh, man.
Because I think this is a pretty interesting team. I think this is a team that you look at the record. I don't think they were.
And we say, thank goodness.
I don't think they were the worst team in the NFL. I think
the Lions.
Dude, they won.
I think they have a lot of upside. I think there's a lot of upside with this Lions.
Man,
enough upside.
And the thing is, I like Detroit for a long time, man. But
they're in a
dang, dude.
but they have a horrible track
happened?
record. In one time they had the best running back in the NFL. They couldn't do nothing with him. At one time they had the best wide receiver in the NFL, and they had a very, 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 very good quarterback, and they couldn't do nothing.
And so that just tells me it's staff, not players. I know those are technically staff, but
Right.
that's coaching.
But
That's
they
administration.
They went 3-13-1. Very poor. They did poor enough to earn themselves the number 1 pick of the draft. I don't think they were the worst team.
Number two.
Oh,
Jacksonville's number 1. Jacksonville's number 1.
Gosh, I know, dude. What happened? They were coming out of
Urban Meyer's what happened to Jacksonville. Urban Meyer.
That
douchebag.
Oh, you gotta join us for the AFC South, and we can just.
I'll crush the South.
We won't even talk about anything else. We'll just spend the whole hour. We'll make it a 2 or 3 hour show, dude. And we'll just crush Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
And we'll just destroy Urban Meyer. But
every Ohio State coach for the past 5-10 years.
Oh, dude,
they're all garbage.
All garbage.
Anyway,
garbage.
The Lions, number 2 overall.
The Lions, okay, 3-13.
Talking about the worst, not the best.
I know they were 3-13, but I think Dan Campbell. I don't know if he's a good coach. All I know is it seemed like the players enjoyed playing for him, because there's one thing to watch a team enjoying football when they win, but like there's something about watching a team that is not drugged down by what they don't accomplish, and they're not drugged down by their shortcomings.
No, they were on
they're
top.
just going to.
They were on top.
They're still going to keep pushing and pushing. There's something to be said about that. I know because of football, it is an economical game, so like results do matter. But there is something cool about watching a team enjoying their football where the results are not going well, because it didn't seem like one moment any single player turned on Dan Campbell.
No, I think that's
they finally won a game. Sorry, Jay.
No, I'm just saying I think that is their, I don't want to say their only upside is the players want to play for the head coach, but I think their whole problem of why they had the number 2 overall pick again, why they're picking so high in the draft again, is I think ownership isn't committed to the guys they hire, which blows my mind, because you're going to go out and hire somebody.
Hire really good people, but they
can't hire somebody but not commit to them.
They can't support them.
Dan Campbell's a player's coach.
They won't back.
Yeah.
They won't back
him. To your point, the guys on Detroit want to be there. Matt Stafford didn't want to leave. Matt Stafford wanted to play for Dan Campbell, but the hourglass is turned over and the Saints almost out, and he went to L.A. and
but that was
such
a weird trade. Well, kind of we can and we will for a second. That is a weird trade for Detroit. So I'm thinking the ownership was thinking total rebuild, because you go and you trade for a quarterback who you know is not your future quarterback.
You don't invest 10 years into a player, then all of a sudden turn around and go,
Detroit
okay, here.
Did not trade.
You're thinking something.
Yeah, Detroit did not trade Matthew Stafford for Jared Goff to be the future of the Detroit franchise. Nobody can tell me that, because that is ridiculous. They got rid of Matt Stafford because they were going to go through a rebuild, and Matt Stafford is beyond a freaking rebuild. He has put too much time into that organization for a rebuild, because you're talking 3 years until you're fighting for a wild card when you use the term rebuild. It's at least a 3-year journey.
Yeah, I mean, look at him every year.
What
Look at him every year.
What's the purpose? Hoping Goff would show something so they could trade Goff and get something substantial for him?
Yeah, I think so. I think the deal was let Goff play for 2 years.
I hit the wrong button. I promise. I'm completely computer illiterate, but like apparently I am. I think
Ask Steven. Shout out Stephen Featley. He also has an F1 show. If anybody likes F1 content, go to S Featley TV. Has an F1. But I did this on his stream one time. I had multiple tabs open and I hit the wrong exit button. Yeah.
That's why they tell you not to touch stuff in the store.
They're right. Once you're on it,
because when you're an adult and you're just like clicking around on stuff.
Shit alone. Quit fiddling.
I mean, but the thing with Detroit is, I always think that when I think about that team, I think about a team who like is diehard. You know, they're in it. You know, even though they might not be winning it, they definitely are like, I'm Detroit. You know, and so I think when they looked at Stafford, he's given them so much, but they really haven't been able to give him something. And you can't tell me you went to the beach and then all of a sudden you're like talked into leaving after 10
I believe
years.
I believe that. I would leave Detroit for California in a heartbeat. Okay?
I know, but I don't think
I buy the Cabo
story.
story 100%.
Should have left well before that, but he's stuck with them. And I think they're looking at it as like, hey, you're good enough where we can get an extreme amount of value, but we don't want you to waste your talent completely here. You know, like go out. I mean, even when he won, the people in Detroit were happy for him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like
Detroit's a real sports town. Detroit is a real sports town.
I think they realized, hey man, you've given us so much, but we can't give you enough to really get there by the time your career's over.
Stafford's departure wasn't.
It's a rebuild. I mean, they got so much in that trade,
and we'll see how
if they miss this.
We'll see how they
trade up.
They're the Lions. They screwed up every time. Every time.
I mean, not that I don't have any respect, but it's like, what are you guys doing? You have you couldn't have gotten a better trade deal.
So the Forts have been in the league too long.
Let's dive then.
They'll be the next team up for sale.
I know we'll talk about this in another stream, because when it gets closer to the draft, we'll talk about this a little bit more in depth. But like, do you? I know you're not. None of us are Detroit fans. We couldn't give a toss what they do.
I'm a Red Wings fan, so I kind of like the city a little bit.
Yeah, but
I think they're extreme underdogs.
I'm a Dallas. I like everything in Dallas
except
for their NFL team, and I hope they F up the draft every year. And I hope Jerry Jones stays the owner for forever, because they won't win another Super Bowl.
Your boy didn't retire. He's coming for you, Brett, again. He wanted to give you a hug.
But do you?
Maybe 12, bro.
As just as an NFL fan watching, is there any faith that you? What do you expect out of Detroit from this draft?
From the draft?
Because I don't think they can do much free agency, right? So most of their shit has to be done during the draft.
I think it depends on how they want to address their needs. If they want to go,
do you have faith they would? What's your faith level in?
They're the Lions. I have zero faith in anything they do is going to be right.
So we're talking bottom of the division.
I mean, the only thing they did right last year in the draft, and it's because I don't think they had a choice. But the only thing they did right last year in the draft was DeAndre Swift. And I'm a Georgia guy. Go Dogs! Rah rah rah! He wasn't the best running back, and he was not the best running back coming out. Detroit took him, and as long as he's been healthy, give him the ball. that aspect has proven me
I
wrong.
think
But I don't
Swift
think
is
Detroit had a
really good
choice
player.
other
They
than
had
to get him last
take
year.
Swift.
So I think this year they
Because
have the number
messed up
2 overall
every other
pick.
draft pick.
Yeah, they got the number 2 pick. They're
And
going
they
to address
won't
the
screw that
secondary.
up either.
Their secondary is atrocious. They have one guy that can play,
Right.
and he happened to go to Penn State. They got one guy that can play who went to Penn State. They need help in the secondary.
Right.
They need help all over the place. They're on defense. On defense, their front seven's atrocious. They don't have anybody that can rush the passer. They don't have anybody that can play linebacker. And their O-line, I mean, Stafford's problem for half the time he was in Detroit was he never had an offensive
didn't hit too
line.
much.
And they have good names in running backs, but never any stats because the line was that garbage.
So you
And
don't
then,
think
the biggest question of all, like you brought
up.
up earlier. Also, too, it's Detroit. Are we dedicated to the quarterback? I mean, we talked about it. I mean, we brought his name up. How dedicated are we to Goff? Are we going to throw the year so we can get a quarterback next year in the draft?
I don't think they got.
I think they do that actually.
I don't think they throw games because they want to play for Dan Campbell.
But I don't think they got. I don't think they got Goff to win games. I think they got Goff because they.
But they also don't have a backup, so
they
they're
wanted
stuck
to
with
help. They wanted to do right by Matt Stafford.
Yes, that's all that was.
And so
that was a doing right by Stafford.
They didn't get Goff to be their franchise quarterback.
They don't have a choice. They don't have a backup. So they have to be committed to him. But are they really?
I don't think
financially they are. Financially, they're on the hook for all of the money in the world.
They took that contract on.
Gosh, man,
they took his dumb contract.
It's one more year left.
And you want to know why people get fired so fast in the NFL?
It's only one more year
they write
on Goff's contract. Because
it's 1 or 2 more years guaranteed with a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the dead cap is going to be a hit.
They're not obligated to the option. They still have the option, right? It doesn't turn into a 3-year deal, or do they still have the option?
I'm pretty sure they got 3 years, and that last year is a lot of dead cap.
Right.
They're not going to. That's why he's not working out. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's been put in terrible situations. I think he's good. He's not top 10. He is a starting quarterback in the league.
Good.
He's
okay. So
it's hard to say. I get it because there's only 32 first-string quarterbacks in the whole world. So saying like you're bad.
There's only 32 of them.
Not.
There's only 32 of them.
No, I get that.
And I think he is one of the 32 because who's playing quarterback down in Jacksonville? That kid's lost.
Is he Detroit 32 though?
Yeah.
But what I mean by that is like there are some teams that could have Goff as their quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. And there's only X amount of changes and players they have to look at. But there are other teams, if you would get Goff as your quarterback, you'd also have to change your running back. You'd also have to change a couple of your receivers. You'd have to change a couple of linemen because of the way they block and everything. It's just I don't think
the line's part of the
answer.
problem. Because Goff's not mobile, so line contributes to how bad he plays. Because when he was out west, they didn't have a line out west either that could protect him consistently. And then in college, he got crushed his last year and a half in college because he played on. So his Goff is a good quarterback.
He's been in his senior year in college. He hasn't gotten any better.
But I think if you watch tape of him in college to now, he's the same dude. He hasn't gotten any worse. He hasn't gotten any better. I think he's consistently pretty well the same. And it's not because he can't get better. It's because he didn't have the opportunity because he can't sit back there like other quarterbacks can. Whether it's obviously he has huge mobility issues.
Okay, so
he's got to stay in the pocket. He's a 3-step and go. If he's got to take 5 and go, trash. But
you think he's the top 32 quarterback. You don't think he's a Ryan?
Oh yeah, for sure. He's a Zach Wilson. Come on, I hate to rag on the Jets,
not
but
Zach Wilson. No, not Zach Wilson. Ryan Fitzpatrick. You don't look at Jared Goff as a Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Ryan Fitzpatrick is better.
He's a
Fitzpatrick's
great
better.
backup quarterback.
Fitzpatrick's better, man.
Yeah,
But
and Fitzpatrick is a
He's
great
old. That's why he
backup
doesn't. That's why
quarterback.
he's not getting looks.
But
He's
he's
too old.
just
His
old, man.
guaranteed
he's
money's
better
too
than
high
Jared
for what you're
Goff.
getting out of him.
But you're telling me
well,
Jared
that's not
Goff
true.
is
He
a
was
top
doing really
30
good on the
quarterback,
Dolphins, and
but
they
there's a
put
But
him
they dumped him
out
for
way
Tua.
early, and then he got
Hey,
hurt
Goff.
last year. But the truth is, like Jay said, man, if I'm Detroit, I'm gonna sink into getting defensive and offensive line. I mean, you need a strong defense, and then you need to move forward, because without that, you're never gonna build a team. Because the defense can stop those players that are making the points against you, and that's the bottom line, man. Defense, offensive line, and then you build your skill players. Because
they had the skill players. They got a true number. I think he's going to be a true number one. They got a true number one in St. Brown. They got a top running back in the league if you give him the ball. Give him two guys on the O-line that can play consistent. Give him depth on the defense to be more consistent. And just tell Goff, like Carson Wentz, don't throw the ball away when the play's not there. Don't sit there and getting sacked, throw the ball in the end zone, throw a pick six in the end zone because you're a doofus. Take the sack. You got 2 broken ankles out of it, dum-dum. How did that go for you? Hey, Goff, you can't move.
Man.
Hey, Goff can't move anyway. Goff, you can't move. 3 steps and go. Goff, I know your mind is there to survey the whole field. You don't have time to. Read 1, read 2. You know where Swift is on the check down. Throw it out of bounds, man. They need tight end help with that second read. Get him St. Brown on the number 1 wideout read. Get him a tight end for the number 2. Get the check down and get out.
You know who wins Super Bowls? Quarterbacks that sit in the pocket and can view the field.
Which Goff can do, to his credit. Goff can do that. He just needs the time. He needs a stud of a left tackle. He needs a center that can read the defense and call the protection scheme. Swift is good enough to pick up blitzes. Their other running backs can pick up blitzes. They all can do that in the NFL. They're all okay at it.
You need to get his tight end. Running back if they're mediocre.
We'll have a show later
no matter
on.
what. I mean,
we'll have a show like before the next year starts. We're going to talk about schemes and everything. Hopefully, I know enough about this. We'll bring up some sort of like visual aid. Showing you, hey, this is what you need to do.
Gonna get a teleprompter? All right, that should be fun.
Talk schemes and everything, but
all right, John, let's see how that goes.
On the whiteboard,
John Gruden on the whiteboard. Okay, get a dry erase board.
Shoot, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna really do it, old school.
Let's do some
comments, baby. X's and O's.
Right. Let's do some more comments, man. We've had a bit more interaction on the show today. Like, I appreciate everybody who's come in.
Most quarterbacks need holes to run through. Yeah, no kidding.
Nice show. Taking questions. We're always taking questions. Chances of Steve Cohen will buy the Jets. By the next Joe Namath. Look, I have my own opinion on Joe Namath. I don't think it was a great quarterback. He got lucky once. But
it's more times the Bills got lucky.
Dude, we were the perennial powerhouse in the AFC for 7 years. Joe Namath's Jets.
I got as many rings as the Bills have.
Joe Namath Jets were not the perennial team in the AFC. They weren't. And by the best free agents.
That was cruel.
Well, nobody wants to go to the Jets.
I can't
they just hired who was the Dolphin coach that they hired?
The Dolphins? I don't even know who they hired.
No, the Jets. They hired Gacy.
Really?
Oh, that's going to be a
going
to be a terrible.
You remember his introduction press conference? He's sitting there, wide-eyed, just staring off, looking at everywhere. People did
Joe Biden about to give a press briefing. Not good.
I got to talk to these people right now.
People did memes with.
What do I say? I'm gonna try not to lose.
What was his name?
Try harder.
What was his name?
Who?
The Dolphin coach turned Jet coach. What was his name? We just said it.
Gase?
Did you?
Not Gase.
Gase. Yeah. He was at the introductory. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Garbage.
He was at the introductory press conference for the Jets, and he's staring around. People did memes. They took this floating taco and floated around the screen, and you're watching
That works.
Casey's eyes flying. It's like he's a horrible coach.
Yeah.
Mom, I love this conflict. I
Civil
didn't
disagreements.
I didn't know there was conflict, but
Dang,
hey,
dude, you're gonna
hey,
run
if it
from there
drives
or what?
ratings,
I
call
like
it
that.
conflict.
Shoot, man, that was good wording right there.
Share the stream. Use trigger words like conflict.
Hey,
and
to,
We're
stuff
not
like
arguing.
that.
It's a civil conflict.
Get people to watch it. All right, yeah.
To
My dad again in here. Sorry, my question. What are chances streams? Oh,
he could. He's got money.
I don't know Cohen's interest in the Jets. Like to be honest, I mean, I don't know much with Steve Cohen's interest. You're the Met fan. You probably have more insight into it, and you probably don't hear anything. So you're probably hoping somebody else has heard it, something, but no, I don't think Steve Cohen has any interest in buying the Jets. There we go. Hey, looks like y'all brothers. Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Maybe.
I don't know why.
Maybe.
Wait, you guys are brothers?
It's the
I know,
beard.
right?
What?
Weird.
Oh my
know,
gosh,
right?
my whole life has changed.
I like Jay's point. Maybe best way to build a winner is by starting in the maybe. This is still football, Dad. You know this, man. I mean, you want we're 3 yards in a cloud of dust, a little bit gone. We're so afraid of that, but it's not. That's still what wins championships. That's what they got to do.
Yo, your dad's not watching football before you even
Not
born.
everyone is very
So reel it back in.
chaos.
Reel it back in.
That's true. Barry Sanders got so many yards that weren't counted because, he ran east and west, and we only count north and south yards.
Correct.
Yeah. QBs need protection. I really do. Yeah, well, we'll see. How about going? Haters on Joe. Sorry. Non-political. Great.
This is my favorite comment so far.
Useless mess.
Non-politically, though.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, man. So here's this team.
Oh man, gosh dang it.
We've argued a little tiny about. Of course, they had a subpar season.
They have a subpar attitude all the way around.
Well, look at the stupid coach that got fired. Look at his attitude.
Look, fewest yards allowed per game defense
in the division.
They were top 10.
We're talking about 4 teams.
They were top 10.
And they had Khalil Mack. He goes a long way, but
third in fewest pass yards allowed.
Bro, they're garbage. No matter what you're saying right now, straight garbage.
They're already garbage. Now they got Matt Nagy out. They've already improved.
Yeah.
They hired defensive coordinator from Indianapolis.
You know what I look for the Bears on Wednesday evenings when my trash goes out?
They should be competing. They should be competing for the playoff spot, for a playoff spot next season.
The Bears? Dude, they're in a world of chaos.
Competing.
They're in a world of chaos.
They need a lot.
They're in a worse spot they're in a worse spot than the Lions are in.
Because the Lions have the picks to make their team better.
And if you're not aware,
everybody has said no faith in the management to address the correct issue.
Did you have that many picks? I mean, you're eventually going to shoot.
You don't think they had this many picks when they had freaking Megatron and Stafford?
They had a bunch of first rounders because they lost every year.
They were still finishing in the bottom of the league, and they still
because the Fords on the team
with their picks. When they had Barry Sanders, they still had primo
team owners. Look, here's the case in point with the Bears. Here's why I think the Bears they're up for sale. So somebody's going to buy the Bears. And the only way that franchise is going to get a more stable,
It's
marching orders is with the sale. And the same
Right.
thing. And I ain't wishing nothing on nobody, but until the Fords get out of Detroit, it's going to be the same thing in Detroit. Until the Fords get out of Detroit, ain't nothing good going to happen to that franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, next year the cap might
never
be
have it
gone, and
where
then
people losing their
we'll
job.
see how it really goes. If you can last to that, the money talks.
But with the Bears, we'll see. I think they're going to be a very unfocused team because of all the stuff going around.
I do too.
They got a new head coach. That's something to pay attention to. The team's up for sale. How does that affect the new head coach? How does it affect all the position coaches? How does that affect the team? More on down the line when you go, how does that affect the team? No first round pick. Okay. Khalil Mack gone. We got to figure out. The only guy they have on defense that anybody knows on defense is Roquan Smith. Outside of that, name me a guy on defense for the Bears. Nobody can. I'll wait. I will wait until. I will wait, and then then the biggest answer is everybody in the league needs a franchise, needs a franchise player. Normally, 9 times out of 10, it's the quarterback. Is Justin Fields the solution to quarterback?
I mean,
I don't
he's
know.
probably the best they've had in a while, but is he the answer?
I mean, you got to go back to Jay Cutler before they had a quarterback.
It's a mix.
Gosh, man, right?
The feeling on Fields.
Gosh, I can't believe how long that's been, right? It makes you feel like a little old to think back. That's when Jay actually first started playing fantasy with us. And he was retiring then.
Mm-hmm.
I think Fields could be, but
just go through the teams on the division. Name me somebody on the Bears, please, other than Justin Fields. Name me a guy you're excited about on the Chicago Bears. I mean, Allen Robinson, but he's gone.
Yeah, he's.
You're not bringing back your number one wide receiver. Your quarterback is a second-year player who's a small cat, which I like Justin Fields. He went to Ohio State, broke my heart, stay at Georgia, whatever. I mean, what do we got? We got Roquan Smith on defense. Go.
It's a
I
get it.
I mean,
No, I get
what are we doing,
man?
And I know it doesn't take names to win a Super Bowl, but at the same time,
Changing the
your name's known if you're putting in work.
Yeah, I went through. This is my point. I was like, man, who do the Bears have that can play? I was like, they got Justin Fields, but the jury's out. I had to look at their roster. I had to go to the roster and look, and the only guy I know on there is Roquan Smith, because Khalil Mack got shipped off because I don't know what they were doing trading for him in the first place.
That was a weird trade. It almost felt
they're not getting anything back for him. They traded to get him for what reason? Then they trade him away and get nothing back.
It was still a top 10 defense.
But to my point is,
and that's a big help. That's a positive.
I get it.
But
the Bears
now we have change in the organization.
Defense. It's just they have no offense, and they haven't for quite some time.
No, you're right. They've gone through Grossman and that same type of caliber quarterback, but Justin Fields is better than what they've had in the past.
I mean, look,
like you said, Jay, that the jury's still out on him. I have my bias against him because I'm a Miami Hurricane, and I hate Ohio State. I don't understand a team outside of my conference hating a team outside of my conference so much. I mean, national championship game has something to do with it, and that my family is Penn State, and that has something to do with it. But I don't think he was that good. But I think he is better than what Chicago has had in the past. And I don't think Chicago's answer is making a quarterback change.
No,
you can't give up this early on him. He was hurt. He missed some games.
And your
You know.
organization and your roster's in shambles, so it's kind of hard to judge him too. Also,
Yeah, I mean that's just the point. It's they played better last year because they had a little bit of stability. You have a new head coach, so what's that look like? Your
right?
team's up for sale. That just looms over your head, regardless of if the team even sales. The fact that they're up for sale makes you wonder how committed is the franchise to me. You can be
What will
committed
they
to them
do?
all you want, but if they're not committed to you, then you're not. Hey man,
And-
pro sports is a very short career. You got
And,
5 years
yeah.
in the league to make money,
And like
you're
keep
coming
bringing
up on a
up,
contract, and they're
not
on,
only that, not
Because who am
only
I going to have to
that,
deal with next year if they buy out,
But-
right? And then
like you keep
I do
pointing
like
out,
Jay's point is the commitment issue, right? Because if the
They're
family's
up
really
for sale.
committed,
why you
why
going to
wouldn't
buy
they
free
pass
agents?
it down? Generation pass off, right?
Yeah, and you're
So
not going
it
to
just
buy
tells you all
free
in general
agents
that this
if you're
isn't
putting
going
your
to be the
club up for
future.
sale.
So do
Mhm.
I put effort into building that future, or do I just play good enough so I don't hurt myself and other teams will look
So
at me?
maybe we can get into this on a different podcast then. But with the thing up for sale and your NFL future basically hanging in the balance of this franchise, if you're Justin Fields, do you take a seat?
No, you have to
and
play.
that's the other question. It's that that's more of my point.
You're playing for an owner who
Is
has their club
Justin
up for
Fields?
sale?
You're not good
I
enough.
think that's
to
why the
sit
jury's out on
and
Justin
not-
Fields is
Yeah,
because it's like, is Justin Fields
You're not
committed to the
Jadeveon
team if it's
Clowney.
for sale? Everybody knows Chicago Bears are up for sale. So do you want to be committed because you don't know what that situation is going to look like? I think to your point, you play good enough to where it doesn't hurt you, but
exactly.
you don't play. You don't go ball out of the world because what good is it going to do you?
It
Who
doesn't.
knows? If you play a top 15 quarterback, you're fine. You can go to, I'm just saying, teams that need a quarterback that are in a good position to win next year, the Colts are in a good spot. Go to Indianapolis. Gardner Minshew's probably going to go there. I love Gardner Minshew. Justin Fields could probably be a better quarterback than Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew's
You
the
go
backup quarterback.
to Vegas. Dude, I love him. Is Vegas committed to the quarterback?
It
I love
doesn't
Carr.
seem like
Is
it.
Vegas
They
committed to
have
him?
been,
There is
but
so much talk about that to get
how
traded
much
every year
time
for the
does that
past
dude
3
really
years.
have?
But I
Well,
mean,
Gruden likes him. Well,
Gruden's gone.
that don't matter
Gruden's fired
anymore.
through.
That don't matter anymore. I
You
don't
know,
think
but it's
that
like, hey,
changes.
man,
I don't think that
I'm
changes
surprised he didn't get
Carr's
fired after he
situation.
lost that last Oakland game before they even moved to Vegas.
But we'll talk about that
later.
on
But,
the
but I
AFC.
mean,
Later
you know,
on another podcast.
to my
On this
point
other
though,
podcast. Right.
back to
no,
my
yeah.
point is the Bears could rally with the chaos and surprise everybody, or they
The
could
management
fall
appointment.
apart
Yeah.
because of all the chaos.
Yeah.
And that falls on the head coach. That falls on your, whoever you deem your star players are, which, I mean, I can only name 2, and one of them's a second-year player. How much stock do you put in that guy? He's, regardless, he's the quarterback of the future, all that stuff, but he's been in the league for a year. We don't know. And then you got a linebacker who's a very solid, a very good linebacker, but he's got a little bit of a questionable background. Does that matter? I don't know. We'll see what happens with the chaos. I think their problem is I think they're going to have a subpar year. I think they're a 500 team. I think this year they're going to be 4 or 5 games under 500 and look terrible because everybody's got the same questions. We're committed to the city. Is the city committed to us? That all depends on the sale, man. That's just the way. That's the business of it. The business of it is the city committed to the players the way the players are committed to the city? I don't know.
This comment right here, man.
Let's do a Man United. We gotta talk
this.
about it. No, this is for next podcast, a different
he's
time.
On
He's
another
spot
podcast,
on.
correct? Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
different
Spot on
podcast.
with this, man.
Go Liverpool. We won today 2-0, by the way. Just throwing that out
I
there.
love how you guys are all like so strong about sports. We all have different teams.
Right.
Oh, it's
Just gonna take
fun.
this off again. You can,
like, I'm gonna kick this
Glazer's
off.
out. Glazer's out. That's the only thing that
Oh,
matters,
man.
man. Everything is rubbish. But all right,
let's get rid of the Bears and move on to the best team in the
let's
North.
get rid of the Bears and let's
I
move
gotta
on
go.
He
to.
said, "I gotta go."
We're going to go on to the winners of the NFC North.
Everything this offseason.
Let me start with you, Jay. Let me take you back. We're hilarious.
Yeah.
We are hilarious.
That's why this works.
Let me take you back. We're getting ready for the 2021 season. Aaron Rodgers is crushing, slamming the board.
As he
Not
should.
not the owner, because
No, the owner.
That guy's got the best PR firm.
Gun and Curse is terrible.
In NFL history, dude.
Yeah, just railing on the upper management of your beloved organization. Before I continue and go on, let me first ask you how you felt with Aaron Rodgers railing on your beloved organization. As a Chiefs-head, how did you feel? Were you like where do you go? Because you talk about your beloved organization and a beloved player. This is Favre all over again, so I kind of know. So we're re-going through all the feelings of Favre in Green Bay with this, but this is still different because Aaron Rodgers isn't exiting like Favre was exiting when all that happened. What was your feeling when, like, how were you preseason before the campaign gets started? Aaron
going back to just, I've never been a fan. I mean, I had a problem with Ted Thompson. When Ted Thompson on the team.
Yeah,
because
Ted Thompson.
I mean,
you're right.
I mean, it just goes back to, like, even look at the history going back to him. Look at how he handled Jordy Nelson. He's a top 5 receiver in the league. His contract is up. And what did Ted Thompson do? Bye. Didn't even offer him a contract. Just let him go. Now, granted, Jordy was done. And,
but he killed it for them, man.
He did.
Everybody talks about Green Bay being ran differently, like it's
Green Bay's like, when I think of Green Bay, I think of
diehard fans,
man.
But you're telling me
diehard organization.
That's a facade. That is a farce. It's not the community running the organization.
Maybe we don't know what happened behind the scenes. But
you have to remember Green Bay is owned.
But it doesn't seem like
they have their own. They have stockholders. It's not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the only.
Wow,
it's the only team in the league that's like that.
But
so that's why those decisions. That's part of the reason why decisions like that are made.
That actually really helps me understand the decision making now.
Yes, it makes a little more sense. Some of it you don't agree with,
right? But what
it still blows your mind, but it makes sense
because their owner made decisions.
I can understand that. That's why Aaron was fighting so hard, and I can understand that now.
Yes,
because I think they put off an image of the Green Bay ownership different.
Well, yeah, because when people think Green Bay, they think, "Hey, this is like a diehard, this is probably the most
on paper,
authentic fan base you can have."
Yes, I mean, I would agree with that. It is a very authentic fan base.
But dang.
But
I mean, people are waiting they die on the wait list, like we talked about.
People get bored
for those tickets
and die waiting for the opportunity.
They go for $80,000.
Right. They just wait
for the opportunity for a ticket,
shoot on them.
Yeah,
and they may not even win the bid. They just.
How long have they been a stockhold team?
Inception.
They've been like that for forever,
They're
man.
the
Oh,
only
really?
club. They're
They've
the
always
only
been that
club
way. That's
left in the NFL.
Lambeau.
Hmm.
Lambeau's always had a 3-year waiting list to go to single game tickets.
No,
because-
I know that, but how long has the team been like stopped?
Well, that's why they've been like that. Is because
Oh,
they're
really? Okay.
they have
Wow,
stockholders.
I mean, that's
and
really cool to learn, actually.
No other
Yeah.
team has.
that's why they have to expand the stadium. They don't need to make it
Shareholders.
bigger, but to give everybody a
explains, yeah.
chance,
That's
you
why
know,
you're
they
a
need to
small-
expand.
Small iron
Which
town
I
living
don't
around
like
a big,
it.
big stadium. Okay, that makes sense.
I don't understand how, if you're a company and you don't have shareholders, you can pass the bill to build a new stadium onto the taxpayer. But
I mean,
you don't even offer shares in your company, but yet the taxpayer pays for your building.
Well,
I
hey,
mean,
that's above my pay grade to answer that question.
yeah, that
Yeah,
just has
sure.
to do with
That's
It makes
the
sense.
greasy
NFL.
wheels.
That's it.
I mean, squeaky wheels getting
Amen,
greased.
common.
But so you're obviously happy.
But I mean, back to what you
Why-
asked, like,
Oh.
how do I feel about all of that? Man,
Yeah,
look,
the beginning.
Aaron-
the beginning.
Aaron
Aaron does
is
this.
Aaron is any given year, he's a top 3 quarterback. He's a multiple-time league MVP.
When he came out and said this, did you think we're going to the Super Bowl, or did you think we could have a really bad year because?
No, I thought Aaron was
going
gone.
to win the Super Bowl.
I thought Aaron was
Green
leaving.
Bay was going to win the Super Bowl.
So you had 13-4 was well beyond your expectation.
He was playing lights out, even in a year where he was struggling with his contract.
Yeah.
Getting
Well, no,
what
but
he
I'm saying
needed.
going into the year before he
You
resigned, before he
thought it
came
would
on the
be
field
worse.
and played this
Did you
past
still
season.
think you
I
win
didn't.
the division?
I didn't think he was going to be on the team. That's
Really?
my
So
point.
you thought this
Oh,
past year
I had
would-
zero
you would
expectation
have
that he would
Love.
resign.
What's his name? David Love?
Jordan Love and he's
Jordan
garbage.
Love.
I hope we trade him.
You
Garbage.
thought Jordan
Anyway,
Love would be your quarterback all year?
yeah, I thought number 10 was going to run the seams and it was going to be a rough year.
So when you found out Aaron Rodgers was your quarterback, where did you think you would finish in the division?
Well, I think this past year we had the year this past year I thought we would have with Aaron at the quarterback position. I was more concerned about long
preseason,
term.
you didn't think he would be the quarterback.
No, but him resigning, the longer during the offseason, league day started today.
Signed itself on that contract.
Yeah, so this upcoming season,
When they
Yes.
offer him that kind
you
of
win
money,
the division,
Do we win the division?
easy peasy.
you should win the Super Bowl this season.
Well, I'm the most
I have
objective
you in
Packers
the
fan I know.
championship,
Okay,
man.
I'm very objective.
I
I think
I
our
know.
line-
I don't like Aaron Rodgers, but I think he has the caliber of talent to
Like
win.
I'll go around and
I
I'll
don't
like
know why he
kind of.
hasn't won more. Really,
Hell
is my
I'll tell
no.
you why
question.
Aaron hasn't won
Rodgers
more.
is the best
I will tell you
quarterback in the league.
I will tell you why Aaron Rodgers hasn't won more. And I think he's a great quarterback. I'm not necessarily in love with him, but I think he's an all-time great. Stats don't lie.
Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers is
All-time,
all-time
I
great.
mean, Aaron Rodgers is going to retire with the top 4 all-time records in years with touchdown interception ratio.
I don't even
he's
think
gonna
he
own
deserves a
4 of the
first
top
Super Bowl
5.
jacket.
Yeah, he does.
No, he
Yeah,
doesn't.
he does.
No, he
Yes,
doesn't.
And he's going to
Aaron Rodgers
But look,
is a great quarterback,
Aaron,
dude.
the reason why Aaron hasn't won more is Aaron was. I don't think Aaron was welcomed by Mr. Favre the way you would have hoped. Fine, whatever. He's a smart
Didn't
dude.
he win like his first year in the Super Bowl? That was like
He
his
sat
first
for
year?
3 years.
Okay, but you're getting knowledge. I
That
mean,
thinks
Tom
we're all
Brady
cool.
sat behind.
Not if the guy doesn't share it with you.
We are cool.
You're learning knowledge. You're not getting it. That's the difference.
Learning, okay, I understand. You're right.
You
Because
know what I
even
mean?
when he
Like, Brett Favre didn't really
congratulated
do him
him for
anything to
like
give him
overcoming
knowledge.
him, he was like still bitter about him.
So we have one MLB team also that's publicly owned.
You know, I just
But
I don't know, man. I just feel like his the caliber, because he is a very good quarterback. I'm not degrading his play
He's
at all.
beyond very
But
good.
like he's had better teams than he had that year he won.
Well, I'll be honest.
Most
Oh,
of
has
the
he
year.
Everybody asks, like,
Yeah.
why haven't the Packers won
But
more?
Aaron Rodgers can't pick the people
Like the
around
Packers
him.
with their roster and their consistent play, And for in the world we live in the era of free agency and all that, it's hard to keep teams. But I mean,
And
hey,
Mike McCarthy was
why hasn't
an
no,
all-time great coach.
No, but
He
look,
wasn't.
the question is why hasn't Aaron Rodgers won more Super Bowls?
Mike McCarthy.
I think the majority of the problem is Aaron Rodgers is just too California cool.
He is so cool, right? I mean,
And
shoot, man. I don't even like the dude, and that dude's the coolest dude in the room.
But it takes years to be able to get away with that with the guys in the locker room.
Man, for sure.
Because how many guys in the league are as California cool as Aaron? Probably not a one.
He's probably the coolest dude in the NFL.
Maybe what's his face out in Kansas City, the quarterback.
No.
Nah, Mahomes is not as cool as Rodgers.
Mahomes, I think Mahomes is cool. I think
I
think Allen.
He is a bomb.
I think Allen's cool.
Mahomes is a bomb. He is a reincarnation of Russell Wilson. A quarterback who is just blown up to be better than he is.
But I mean, there's only a handful of guys that are like that cool. And I think that's Aaron's problem because he came into the league that way.
Yeah.
And I think he was just too California cool. Sat for 3 years, so now it takes you 3 years to get the respect. So you're at a 6-year deficit, and look at when they started winning. They started running off years 10, 12. They started running off good seasons 10 years. When he was in the league for 10 years because he made up for that 6 or 7 year deficit of learning. Be California cool, right. But also be cool, man.
Hey, can I ask you another quick question, Jack? And do you put any of the lack of success of your organization, and he was such a good running back, he could have been one of the best running backs in the league.
Better not say Lacy right now.
He lost his focus, and he got too big for his britches.
He lost all that weight. He was killing it that 1 year he came back.
Do you think some of Aaron Rodgers' shortcomings and didn't accomplish everything we feel he should have because Aaron Rodgers won Super Bowl? This sounds very underachieving. Do we contribute any percentage to Eddie Lacy?
Nope.
Eddie Lacy wasn't even there when he won the Super Bowl.
Because look, Eddie Lacy.
No, I'm just talking about if Eddie Lacy would have kept his head, would have been better. Do you think they
were switching him out with Jordan Howard that whole time?
Because he turned into a bum.
No, he got a little bit bigger than a running back should be.
A lot bigger. No, it's funny. It's funny. It's funny that you bring this up because I was watching the Pat McAfee show. All right. And they posted.
Yeah, I like that show. That's a good show.
They showed one of the guys on there is a diehard Packers fan. Diehard. And they showed the other day the last photo of spring ball. Spring ball.
Okay. I was like the last.
They showed the last picture of Eddie Lacy in Green Bay. And that was not only the end of his Green Bay Packers career, that was for all intents and purposes the end of his NFL career. Because if you saw that picture,
right after that, right?
Yeah, he went to play in Seattle. He got a contract in Seattle. They're like, hey, if you come in and weigh this much, you get this much. They signed him to a league minimum and bonused out his contract. Bonused out his contract. They're like,
he's like, if you're willing to play with Andy Dalton for a little bit, we'll sign you for a contract.
But I mean,
I know.
When you see how big Eddie got,
won more.
What's that?
Do you think if Eddie Lacy would have kept the focus and kept what he learned it out?
No, our defense is too bad. No, our defense was not a top 3 defense in the league to win the Super Bowl. They just weren't.
So I don't think the Green Bay's ever had like a super solid defense as far as when I watched them.
Not in years.
And the problem is like you throw the ball, you have a good quarterback that can throw the ball downfield. That's where most of your points come from.
You have a great.
Well, we can't stop anybody on defense.
Gunslinger throws.
Look, I mean, like what we were saying at the beginning when we first started. Jesus, Mary and Joseph, you're telling me we're not better than the 49ers? But I mean, when you
Which
can't
is
tackle,
crazy,
Wrong.
man. You are.
when you can't tackle nobody, you lose. You
Like
can't.
I
They
couldn't
stop you one
believe
time, you
that.
don't stop them that
I,
one time.
I man,
Gonzo.
I
That was
had
the only
y'all.
time that California cool bothered me, man. Like, you
Yes.
should be upset if you lost to Garoppolo. Like,
Oh,
at
he's a terrible quarterback.
least like turn your head, like something.
And I
Don't
mean,
just
he
like
had,
stare blank
like,
He
look,
face
didn't
into
Aaron
your
had the
phone.
negative
start at
body language
all,
that he wasn't
right?
happy. But
No, I
Aaron,
No, he
know, but
did.
it's just
I
like,
guess I
damn,
need to.
man.
I didn't rewatch the game enough
but
then.
he, I mean,
to
like, he had the
see it.
negative body language that he wasn't happy what's going
Did he?
on.
I
And
Okay.
part
get
of that is
that,
also on him for not being involved.
and
Because
I
I
get
just
it.
watched the
Yeah,
coaches. I
I
just
just
watched the coach film.
Oh, Matt LaFleur doesn't know what he's doing yet.
No, the coach film. Shout
Oh,
out
yeah.
NFL.com. If you subscribe to NFL.com, you can go in, you can watch replays, but you can watch it
Yeah, but
just
any more
as
questions?
play by
Do we-
play. You can watch an hour game in an hour instead of watching
Yeah.
an hour of play clock in 4.
Yeah. What's the next question you got? So, I mean, look, I wasn't confident at the beginning of this past year Aaron would be back. I surely didn't think he was going to re-sign. I just got more, I felt better the longer the time went on. The
I
more
thought
time
Green
went
Bay
on
was
before
gonna get a
the more
great,
time
great
passed,
deal.
I thought he was going to stay in Green Bay.
Well,
But-
shoot, 13.
Once he got his
no,
quarterback coach,
yeah,
I was like,
13
all
and
right, he's
4.
probably gonna stay.
And two, I mean,
13 and
hey, the
4,
thing
y'all had
everybody
a
was
great
saying,
year.
was watch him go to Denver. And I got scared when Hawthorne
Man,
Oh,
Denver's
went down to
really good.
Denver.
I feel bad
I
for Russell, man.
when he went
No,
to Denver,
I
I
don't.
thought it was a foregone conclusion Aaron would be
What
gone.
is he gonna do in Denver? What's Russell
Well,
gonna do in Denver?
we're not talking about,
But
or
Okay.
maybe we
Next
can
question.
hear in a second. Okay, so 13 and 4.
yeah,
Aaron's coming back 4 years, gajillion dollars.
60.
How
Yeah,
many,
I
how many
know.
zeros is like a jillion?
It's a
You
lot.
think Devontae Adams?
Okay,
is,
hold on, Don. You're
I can't ask
stealing
questions. Dang.
You're
Okay.
stealing my thunder. This was my.
You're gonna ask my
needed.
question.
This was
Devontae
my-
got re-signed. I don't know what that contract's going to look like in reality, but
Yeah.
No, he got.
he turned
I
down the
thought-
tender, but they re-signed him. He didn't sign the franchise tag, but they re-signed him when Aaron's deal came final because they couldn't announce anything with Devontae until the cap space was cleared on Aaron's
At 4
contract.
p.m. earlier today.
Yes. So as soon as
So Adams isn't sitting out.
no, Adams is going to be in Green Bay. They're going to pay him $25 million a year, and
Oh,
look,
because
think
Devontae-
I was about
Green
to
Bay. I think
ask
he's gonna
you,
stay there as long
how
as
do
Aaron
you
stays there.
feel with your team with Devontae Adams sitting out this year, but he's not sitting out?
I mean, even if he does it,
Because I thought
He-
they tagged him, and he's like, "I'm not signing the
they
tag.
did
I'm
what they
sitting
did,
out."
they tagged him. He said, "I'm not playing for that because he
Right.
knows he only has 4 years left in the league. He wants paid."
That's
So
Yeah.
where we're
but-
at, right?
No,
But you
because
tell me no.
when Aaron's deal became official, that cleared up cap space. Because all they're going to do for the next 8
We
years
paid you
So they're
these
going to
two-
one-fourth
sign
the cap
Devontae
space,
Adams will
but
play
it
with
cleared up cap space.
with Devontae and Aaron, realistically, Aaron's only playing 2 more years, maybe
Correct.
3.
Yeah.
He has a 5-year contract.
I thought he had
Those
four.
the last 2 years is dead cap, and the last year the dead
Okay.
cap is like $80 million, which is absurd.
Oh,
But he's
shoot,
also making like
$80 million.
62 million.
I guess I'll
Me
go out
close.
there and throw a ball in my rickety ass body.
He's making $62 million for the first 2 years, and he's making $50 million a year
Gosh,
for
man.
him.
Okay, so
That's an
Devontae
insane
Adams
amount of money.
is
So
going to
they-
be on the field. So
And I'm just saying, to your point about like with Devontae, if he was leaving, we would have already signed Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry was let go by the Browns because of all the wheeling and dealing the Cleveland Browns are doing.
Jarvis Landry is not good.
What are you talking about? He
Okay,
has like the
whatever,
least
okay.
drops in the whole league. The dude's got the best hands in the whole league.
He is a number 1 wideout. He's
He
a
is
bona fide
balling,
gold-plated
bro.
number
What are
1
you
wideout.
talking about? This has come from the guy who likes AJ Green.
AJ Green's a great receiver.
No, shut up. I'm trying to burn Bray. You're backing him.
Well, pick a different guy.
Okay, look. Okay.
Julio
Hold on. Julio Jones is a great wide receiver.
Washed up, but Julio is very near and dear to my heart.
Yeah,
Go Dogs.
He's not
Go
good.
Bama. I mean,
not good.
He got released by Tennessee.
0% good. But anyway,
Well,
Jarvis
so,
Landry
look,
is
Landry's a bona fide number one wide.
Of my plan of trying to burn Bray did not go through.
Jarvis Landry's a great
No, he's good, man. I would
you can't run after the catch with Baker Mayfield throwing the football.
Yeah, but
Baker Mayfield, give me a break.
He doesn't have the speed, but he has consistency.
Wasn't much better.
You don't need to be super.
Who is throwing the ball down
Aaron
there?
Rodgers. You need somebody consistent.
Okay, hey, go A&M, but Ryan Tannehill. Okay. I mean, okay, we'll see. The guy played wide receiver his last year.
But the Browns got Amari Cooper, so.
Yeah, well, that's why the Browns let, back to Jarvis. That's why they let him go. Because they were going to sign Amari. Because the Cowboys are retarded and going to let him go.
Gosh, the Cowboys, man.
I think we've wrapped up the NFC North, right?
But I mean, my overall thoughts on the Packers. Look, I mean, I think we're.
You as a fan too, like what?
Yeah. Well, I'm not even going to give you my fan take. I'll give you an objective take.
Yeah.
I'll give you an objective take. If we don't improve our O-line, we're garbage.
What do you expect in the draft?
I think you need a better defense, but I mean,
our defense is terrible. Our defense is garbage. Garbage.
You can't fix the defense with this year's draft, right? So you go with somebody like.
I think with our first round pick,
you can go 13-4 in the regular season and be trash in
the playoffs. Yeah, look at the Packers
if
last
you're
year.
Not built correctly.
Made the playoffs and we laid an egg. Yeah, I mean,
the thing is, I would improve the defense because Aaron Rodgers is going to phase out. You have a great quarterback right now that can move the ball, so you improve your defense.
Well, I think our number one priority needs to be the line.
Team for the playoffs.
Because I think with a All-Pro, and I know there's not a lot of them, but with one addition of an All-Pro offensive lineman, with A.J. Dillon as running back, A.J. Dillon is a better we talked about him already. Eddie Lacy. Dillon is going to be Dillon's way better. He's slimmer. Like Dillon, he's a very good. He's a hammer. He's a hammer down running back. Jones. But he can kill the clock,
right?
Dude, you asked your brother a question. You're talking through the whole time.
I know. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I think we can kill the second half of games with Dillon running the ball. But we did that all year last year. And look at our losses and look at our close games. Our defense couldn't tackle a wet paper bag if a tumbleweed blew it down the road. I mean, it's sad.
My Bills with Kelsey.
It's really sad.
Tackle him.
Hopefully.
How do you not cover Travis Kelsey?
I don't know. Teams do it all the time, though. I mean, we need a lot of secondary help. Our secondary is trash. We lost to Darius Smith.
Oh, shit.
Is that going to matter or not? I don't know. We still have Preston. We still got the better. Better is a relative term. Whatever. We still have the better all-around player. I don't know. We'll see what that means.
If the
it's hard to base players on stats. It's the eye test, man.
I think Preston
is fixed it in his draft.
The problem every team has is the guy you weren't going to be there.
And the problem is you finish so high
because you want to take a different. You want to take another. You want to take a wide receiver
our first round
in this position, but it
needs our first round pick
on that
28, 29.
Our first round pick, we're probably going to take a wide receiver if he's there. I looked at some draft mock drafts. They have us taken.
I think that's a waste, man.
But do you exit?
Well, we're not going to have Alan Lazard. Alan Lazard's not going to resign, so we're only going to.
He's not really.
No, they tendered him. Somebody's going to pay him more.
Oh, shit, man. He was coming on too.
I'm very upset about that. I mean, look, because I think they tendered him $4.5 million.
Really?
Yeah.
I think a team that needs a number 2 or number 3 that has $5 million.
He could probably be a number 1 on some teams.
Well, no,
some teams he could. I'm upset about Lazard leaving. If he
was coming on, dude. He really was, dude. Dang it.
Yeah.
But I think we addressed that issue. We addressed the wide receiver with our first round pick.
Cause
I almost
did you
feel
see
that's a waste for you
McKenzie?
guys,
You
but
see
like, I don't
McKenzie for
know.
Buffalo?
I get it because you're trying to. Right
You
now,
got to
you
make Aaron
see
happy.
this much.
Aaron's
You
got
want
a
to win
lot
a
to say
Super
what we
Bowl,
do.
right? Like you're
Well,
not
he
thinking
doesn't.
about
That's why he's
rebuilding
pissed.
your team. You're thinking about winning a Super Bowl. So you need to give the cat weapons.
Look,
I
Can
can
I ask you
understand
something,
that.
Shay?
What up?
Lazard.
Yeah.
He's the same thing. We re-signed McKenzie, right?
Uh huh.
I think Lazard, McKenzie, same guy, right?
And
I
Lazard's
think
way better.
Lazard's.
Why do we resign him, but you don't resign Lazard?
Did
Because
you
that
just
seems
sign a?
like a guy you would want to resign.
Did you just sign a guy to $120 million
I
over
was
2
gonna
years?
say $7 million a year is why.
120 million
Allen
for
just
Aaron over
signed
two
$43
years,
million
50 million,
contract, right, or something like that.
50 million year 3, and I don't know what the official money's going to
Well,
come back
who
on
do you think's
Devontae.
better,
That's irrelevant.
McKenzie or I know system and fit.
It's irrelevant. It's the money. McKenzie's better because the Bills have money to re-sign him. Devontae's the actual better player. Or Lazard's the better wide receiver, but not in Green Bay. He ain't going to be because they ain't going to sign him. I don't
Do you
think.
think Lazard's better than McKenzie?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. I think St. Brown's pretty damn close too.
Oh, dude.
I think his brother on the Lions. I think his brother on the Lions is better than he is, but
Oh, that's who I thought you were talking about. St. Brown.
no, our St. Brown. If he could ever, god dang, stay healthy, but
So, okay, yeah. So we've talked about these organizations, what they did this year, how they've set up. We've discussed a little bit about their managerial like changes and whatnot. We'll do a podcast in the future with the upcoming stream, but as of right now, because of free agency is booming and a lot of things are happening right now, I think it is fair to discuss a little bit of expectation for the next season. I wanted to hold off and talk about expectations later, but the NFL finds its way to stay relevant throughout the whole calendar year.
mm-hmm.
So we'll do this real quick. If we're going into next year, and based on what you've seen from everything, what just division wise, Detroit next year, where they
Detroit
fighting or
last.
are they still predict
last in the division.
last in division?
Yeah,
Done.
I think they'll.
If you're
I
gonna
think
do
the
the whole
team.
division, if you're gonna
sorry.
do the whole division, it's Green Bay, Vikings, Chicago, Detroit, and maybe if
Agreed.
Detroit can pull off these picks, maybe they'll be better than Chicago.
But
I think the difference between. I think the difference on the bottom two is.
how they manage the draft and free agency?
No, I really think it all comes down to who wants to play for the franchise. Do the
Yeah,
players
you're
want
right.
to stay?
And that does
Do
come
the
back to
players want to stay in
that
Chicago?
question. Are
I
you
mean, I think
staying
it all
there?
goes back to that. I think it all goes back to that for the Bears. I
You
really
wanna
Now,
do.
make
if
a
they sell
difference.
before the beginning of next season,
Then
That
I think
is
the Bears
a
will finish
big
last.
thing
you
because
know,
they're up the
you know,
up for
Denver will finish.
sale.
I mean, Detroit will finish last, right? In that case, because you
No,
know
I
who's
think
playing for it.
I think the edge. I think Detroit can. The only way Detroit edges Chicago is Dan Campbell.
Okay.
The guys on the roster want to
think
play for the
that's
coach.
fair, dude.
Okay.
I think that's the only way Detroit wins more games than the Bears. I really do, because I think even with all the chaos in Chicago, I think they
Right.
win more games because I think Detroit is just a mess. Even with Chicago being up for sale and all that nonsense, I think, they had the mess with the franchise being up for sale and that looming. I think the Lions have the better roster. But I still think the Lions are going to finish last in the division. Because there's just that lack of commitment from the top
Right.
down. I think the 53 guys want to play for the head coach. I don't think that comes down from the owner to the head coach to the players.
So you think
It kind of does, though, right?
results
Because if the head
won't-
coach doesn't feel like he's going to get that kind of love
but it
going
feels
forward,
different.
it's going to
with
be
this
hard for them to
Detroit
play for the
team.
coach who doesn't
Well,
feel like he is putting in the effort that he should.
Because I don't
Yeah,
feel
well,
about Detroit like I do about Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. Who's
Right?
Jacksonville?
And
Who's
neither does
Jacksonville?
Jay.
Whatever.
Do you feel the same, Don,
Sorry, what was your
about
question?
Detroit than you do
I
about
feel like
Jacksonville? Do you feel the same?
I
about
was a
these two?
Robinson fan. That's what I'm
No.
saying. It's really hard for me to talk crap about Jacksonville because I really thought Robinson was really going to beat the Ravens, but he didn't. He let me down.
And they shipped him off.
Good.
They
for
moved
him.
Robinson in the trade when he was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Robinson was hurt
Yeah.
when
okay.
Jacksonville dealt
That-
Robinson because they knew
I
this
think
was our last
Detroit is
chance
better
to
than
get this.
Jacksonville overall.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah,
Well, the thing
different
is
conferences.
this
Yeah.
That's hard.
Jacksonville, man, they're just like they're
That's hard.
teetering on all these, like, should we stick with these guys? Should we let them go? Blah, blah. Look how fast. Like, I guess it's a Florida
I
thing
do.
that
I think Jacksonville
they'll ship you out real quick.
Jacksonville seems to be in a more steady, or a more consistent, up and down than the Lions.
The Lions,
sometimes you
call
feel like
up
the
and down
Lions-
consistent. That's not good when you call
yeah, I guess
up and
Detroit's
down
consistently
consistent.
losing, and
No,
Jacksonville.
But I mean, look,
Jacksonville.
Detroit. I think Detroit has their head
Jacksonville
coach.
Jacksonville was like.
I think
2
Detroit
games
can
from
be
the
a good
AFC
team, man. They just need to
Championship
buckle
game
down, really
years
focus on these
ago.
picks that they have, and do right with them. And then they
I-
will be
yeah.
a team that you have to think about. Because I remember when I first started watching football, like, they had a solid defense and a pretty
Mhm.
almost I'm not saying elite, but a
No, they
decent to
underachieved.
good
They
offensive line.
underachieved.
Yeah,
They
I agree.
underachieved.
And then
That
I
Matthew
agree.
Stafford Lion
floundered.
team you're talking about
floundered.
massively underachieved. And that's
You
why
know?
the coaches ain't there no more.
I'm talking about when Stafford first started. It was
No,
like
right.
year 1, 2, 3.
No, they
Yeah.
massively underachieved.
Yeah.
Well, they
And
weren't
then
any
once
good anywhere
Megatron
else,
left,
other
it
than the
was
quarterback.
just like a consistent every year. Just like they didn't know how to draft. They didn't know how to keep
bust
their
after
players.
bust after
and
bust.
now
They
we're here.
went.
Yeah.
They went what 4 years in a row with a top 3 pick, all drafted wide receivers, and none of them made it past their
Nothing.
first contract.
Nothing.
Like, I'm glad I'm not a Detroit Lion fan, man.
And it's
Yeah.
not like they haven't
Um,
drafted running backs either. First
No,
round.
they have.
They
They've
drafted like first
Swift
round
is
running
a
backs.
really
They've done their
good
due
quarterback.
diligence at
in a row.
every position. It just hasn't worked. And I
And
think
what does that
that's
say
top to
about
bottom.
you as like
Yeah.
a coaching staff? Because the players only have so much input. Because
Because
I mean,
I would love
there's
to
very
draft,
few players that really
Swift.
have any say in your draft picks or your
but he's a
coaching
Detroit
picks or
Lion
anything
player,
like that.
so it bums me out.
You go and you look at the Lions, right? When the Lions look like a football team, the only reason they look that way is because the head coach
Matthew
was a player's
Stafford.
coach.
Yeah. And now they
have a
started to
player's
look
coach
like
now.
it, but they still
They
weren't
have a
good
player's
enough.
coach now. So I think if
they
the
do.
I think if the organization is committed to Dan Campbell, because Dan Campbell's committed to those guys, and those guys are committed to Dan Campbell. If it goes to all 3 sources up and down, front to back, back to front, they're going to finish third in the division. And I think it'll be a very close third with Minnesota. I just think Minnesota's got their
And you know what I like
roster-wise.
about this channel
Okay,
is
hey,
again and again,
we'll
we
wrap up.
always
Hey,
talk about
wait.
family-oriented.
Well-
I'm not talking about teams. I'm not talking about actual family, but if the team itself is
Right.
oriented into a family structure, those are the teams that win.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't
So-
be a single-minded player. It's not for you. It's you got to play team. And
Right.
that, what's crazy about me, what's crazy about that is like you spend so long getting to this position, you
Yeah.
know how to play as a team. Don't tell me you don't.
All
Yeah,
right, so
agreed.
let's wrap up Detroit.
Yeah.
Your faith. I know we have, because Jay, you have biases in this division, so you're
I'm
gonna say
objective.
no, but you are objective. From what we've seen from Detroit, how they manage to how they have managed drafts in the past and free agency, is there anything that makes you think they make that leap during this off season and they progress and they do enough in this next season to, let's just go, contend, and let's go 2 games outside of making the playoffs at least?
I don't know what the record looks like. I'll say this. I think they're a 500 or better ball team.
Which puts them in contention for the wild card.
Which is going to say 500
I
team
say
now because there's actually one more game than a 500 game.
Yeah, it's not 500 anymore.
So it's like
they're within. I think they're within a
450.
game. I think they're within a game of being
You
500.
think they're within the game of making the
Yes.
playoffs?
And the only reason, Dan Campbell.
Okay.
Dan
Campbell.
Yep.
Donnie?
Oh man, I think if we don't see them get too close, if not making the playoffs this year, it's probably not going to happen for several, if not a decade, because this trade that they just made was a decade in the making.
Yep.
And so if they don't
A
get
lot
it,
revolves
when are you going to get
on
another
a trade.
Yeah.
A lot revolves on a trade they made for a guy who's not even going to be their franchise quarterback.
No, they made the trade.
Like,
they
that
gave
is
up
insane.
the quarterback that just won the Super Bowl for a trade to build their team.
Right,
towards the
but they
future.
didn't. No, what I'm saying is
Golf
they
was just
didn't-
a spot. It was
No,
just because
exactly.
we need a quarterback and we can't pull
What
somebody
I'm
better off
saying
free agency.
is they didn't
Because
trade
you can
with
trade
the
Golf to a
Rams.
lesser team
Yeah,
this coming up season,
right.
if
What
you
I'm
wanted
sa-
to.
Yeah, what I'm saying, Don, is like they didn't trade for Goff to become their franchise
No, they traded
quarterback.
for all these picks that they're going to get during the draft.
Right.
That's what they traded for.
So
Golf
what I'm
was just something
saying,
they needed to fill in the
Yes.
spot. They already knew they were losing.
so what I'm saying is, do they use everything they got correctly?
If they
Or
do that, they
do
have a
they ju-
potential to
But do
make
you
a
think
wild
they
card
do?
spot.
Do you think they do, or is this just Detroit?
If they don't do it now, do they have the potential to? Yes. But are they going to? I don't know.
Well,
If they
this
don't,
is the
then
window they
I
provided
have
themselves
less faith
with.
in Detroit than I've ever had before.
This is the
And
window
they're
they
pretty much garbage for the next decade.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
and they did it trading and not even getting their quarterback
You pretty
because
much have
they got a
yeah.
quarterback who they knew wasn't going to be their guy, and they got to turn their franchise around.
This is the
finding
spot
a
where they
new
turn
guy.
it around or they flounder. It's
Yeah.
either that or you draft first draft pick every year for a decade and just basically sell players.
To your point, I think this year is the year.
Who
If
do
they
you
have a
think's under
successful year,
center?
they'll be okay. If they
Who do you
don't have a
think's under
successful
center
year
for Detroit
next year, after golf,
2023? You
It's
think
gonna be
golf, or
this
do you
year.
think golf
They're not
is?
getting rid of him. They're
this
going
year?
to play him.
no,
this year.
Goss got 1 year. Goss got this year, and he's gone.
What's Detroit's record?
Abysmal.
4 wins.
I mean, I think. Look,
If they make the
Detroit-
playoffs, they'll keep golf one more year. I think after
look.
that.
I said I
They're
think they're
not
within a
going-
game of 500. I said Detroit's within a game of 500.
So that's 8 games. And he went 8 games.
They go from 3 to 8, trading Stafford for golf.
Dan Campbell.
Do you think they do it?
No, it's because the players they're going to draft based on the positions that they can draft this year.
Right now, do you think
It has
they do
nothing
it?
to do with golf.
Right.
The win
Right.
or loss has nothing to do with golf right now. He won one
No, it has
game.
everything to do with Dan
2
Campbell.
games from.
Right.
I have faith in Dan Campbell. I'll just say
Donnie,
that.
real quick,
I got
Donnie,
faith in Dan Campbell.
do you think next year Detroit's the playoff team?
Man, see, I don't know their draft picks right now going in there. No, but like they have a
Well,
lot of.
I know that's
they
why,
have a lot
that's
of
why you're on the
potential in their
spot. That's why
picks.
you're on the spot right now.
I
What
mean,
we
if
do-
we're if
what
we're
we
bet,
do
if we're in
the
Vegas
show-
right now, I would say yes because that's going to win you some money. But like realistically, shoot, man, you have to draft really.
If
really
you have to
highly.
throw money right now, Detroit makes the playoffs next year. Do you do it?
Let's see. Wild card positions. I think they could make a wild card spot.
Enough to throw down money on it.
I mean, you trying to get me to bet you right now on
No.
live?
No, just your faith.
My
in it.
faith in Denver, I mean, in Detroit, is based on purely how they do this draft.
So you don't throw money down on them right now.
Right now, I mean, if you want to triple my money that I put on this bet right now, if they do win, I will do it.
So whatever the odds are the odds.
I mean, if I put in $1,000, you gonna give me $3 in return if they win?
I don't know what the odds are.
Oh, okay.
They're bad. They got the
bad.
second longest.
They're
third.
probably more than that.
I think the third longest odds.
It's definitely not 1 to 3. It's probably like 1 to 20.
I think the bottom three goes Jacksonville, New York, Jets, and then Detroit. Or it might be the Jets might be third from last in the Lions. Those are the bottom three though. The bottom three is Jacksonville, the Jets, and Detroit, Jacksonville, and the Jets. Those are the bottom three.
All right. Donnie, undecided. Jay, Detroit playoffs next year?
No,
If you have to
absolutely
call it
not.
Right now.
No.
Okay.
No.
Minnesota, 8-9. Do we?
They're going to win 10 or 11 games.
They have a better chance of making the wild card.
Yeah.
They're not winning the play. They're not winning the division, of course, but they have a better chance. Actually, more better chance than most teams playing for the wild card because they almost were in the running this year.
Do we think?
Yeah, I think they could win. I think they could be the
coaching change?
first wild card team.
And they have a better coaching staff now, or at least head coach.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
We're fans.
I think they win 11 or 12 games.
Fans, I'm just saying, like, I think they have a better chance. I mean, there's a reason you only get so far every year to a certain point every year, regardless of the players.
No, true. Chicago.
Nah. No.
No.
Nuh-uh.
4 games under 500.
Yeah. I'll buy a Vegas trip if they win.
They win 6 games, I'll be surprised.
You heard me. I didn't stutter.
I think 4 games is what they win.
But if they don't, are you
if
paying
they win
for it?
6, that'd be a little surprised, but
Looks
not
like
too
I don't hear
surprising.
that.
But I think 6 wins is what they're looking at.
Green Bay wins.
Yeah,
the
they're middle of the
division.
pack, but like a little bit less. Green Bay is going to the playoffs. There's no reason they shouldn't.
Defense, tackling.
That's
That's why we won't tackle.
North, does the NFC North get 2 playoff teams next year?
Yes.
No.
Yep.
No.
Only the division winner?
Minnesota gets in.
Minnesota would be the only reason I say yes, but
Minnesota's going to get in with 11 or 12 wins.
I just honestly, I think
who's their quarterback in your world?
I think
dude?
the Eagles have a better chance than Minnesota.
Kirk Cousins.
Hey, he's got to get the ball to Dalvin Cook. Any idiot can do that.
I mean,
yeah,
he's good. He is very talented.
He's the third best running back in the league.
No, he's not.
Don't talk crazy now. Okay.
No,
he's the third best running back in the
I
league.
thought you really knew your stuff until you just said that.
No, he's not.
Who?
We got 2 Alabama quarterbacks.
Who's the best running back in the
number 1
league?
and number 2.
Derrick Henry.
It's
Derrick
definitely
Henry,
probably Derrick
Najee
Henry.
Harris.
Najee Harris isn't proven yet.
Even Jonathan Taylor's better than Cook.
And then
Jonathan Taylor's number 2.
no,
number
Najee
3.
Harris,
I would think Kamara would be
Najee
free
Harris
if he
is
doesn't
better.
go to jail.
Oh,
he's
he's going downhill real quick.
Damn, dog.
Najee
I know
Harris-
he might get 5 years. I don't think he's getting the stretch on that shit, but
Najee Harris is the second best running
he's
back.
really good.
No,
He's not the
Jonathan
second
Taylor.
best
Yeah.
running
Jonathan
back
Taylor.
in the league.
He,
Jonathan Taylor.
Najee Harris is
You're not
better
going to
than
argue.
Jonathan
You're not going to
Taylor.
win an argument with me.
No, especially because he's going to be on.
Henry. Derrick
He's
Henry's
going to
number
be on
1.
the Steelers again.
Derrick Henry's number 1.
Yeah,
Jonathan
Derrick Henry's
Taylor's number
number
2.
Taylor's not number 2.
Okay, go
Dude,
look at the
he's
stats.
a beast.
Go look at the
no,
stats.
hold on. I don't want to take anything away from Jonathan
Okay.
Taylor.
Numbers
He's a
don't lie.
really
Go look
good
at those
running
stats.
back.
Jonathan Taylor's
But-
number 2.
But Najee Harris is better.
That's crazy talk.
I'm going to say I disagree because the Steelers are a better team than the Colts, and he's still beasted it.
Not Najee Harris is going to be what we thought Adrian Peterson was going to be.
Adrian Peterson was what he thought he was going to
Yeah.
be for 3 years.
Yeah, dog. The dude came back from an ACL sprain, an injury, a tear, surgery, all that shit. Best Madden worthy the next year.
No, and that's what I was saying. Adrian Peterson was going to be the greatest running back in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, no one go that far.
No, he was.
I
He was.
think Bell was better than he was.
Bell
Who?
is no.
Le'Veon?
Bell's not,
Yeah.
Oh
No.
my God.
I'll take Adrian Peterson over Le'Veon Bell. All
Correct.
day, man.
No, as far as
Oh,
longevity goes, we can't base it off.
No.
Le'Veon Bell has more years.
We prefer.
He hasn't played in 4.
I preface this with.
Well, yeah,
was
because he
going
decided
to
to say,
be-
"Hey, I want to hold out for money," and ruined his career.
No, I preface this.
Gosh,
what's
man,
going
how bad
to
does
be.
that dude feel? Right? He looks
Just
in the mirror every day
How
going,
bad
"Dude, I
does
should have
Antonio Brown feel?
just taken that money."
Bo Jackson was going to be the greatest running back ever. He got tackled, landed on his knee, and popped out his hip. Could never run again. He was going to be a Hall of Famer in both baseball and football.
That's crazy.
And he
a lot
was
of
going
people
to be
like
the
that.
best.
There's a lot of people who were like super
Adrian
awesome, and
Peterson.
then they flopped.
Adrian Peterson's better than Walter Payton.
And the only reason I feel like that is
Adrian
because I watched
Peterson
the
is
end of
gonna be-
Adrian Peterson's career just as far. I watched the good parts, and I watched him flounder for years.
I watched him in college.
Yeah.
He was going to be the greatest.
You
Running
just
back
you need
ever.
to stop at a certain point and go, okay, this is the best I'm going to be. I need to move on.
Oh.
But people are going to remember me being on the Redskin or the Commanders.
No, you
finished
were right.
my
Go ahead,
career.
say it.
No, you're right. The greatest running back in the NFL is not who should have been the greatest running back in the NFL.
You know,
Sorry. Bo Jackson
I seriously want to watch.
should have been the best running back in the NFL. Adrian Peterson was going to be better than him.
you
Maybe.
can't say he should be.
That's a moot point.
Should.
Yeah,
You're right.
It's a moot
I
up
mean,
for debate,
technically,
which is the beauty,
I mean,
which is the
Ingram
beauty
has better
about
stats than
conversation.
Peterson.
That's a discussion. Well,
You're
that's,
right.
that's a discussion for another day, I think.
You know what I'm
Alright,
saying?
so-
We can go around in
I know,
circles
I
about
know.
running backs,
Stats.
man.
We're talking about stats.
Right.
I mean, if I saw both of those dudes run down the field with the ball, I would say Peterson. But
Yeah,
it's just
But
we
stats and
base everything on
longevity.
stats as far as that's concerned. That's what
that's
sucks.
for the NFC North, man.
I think Drew Brees is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but unfortunately, like
Dallas boy.
Yeah, true that.
he didn't get
No.
it. He only had the one ring. But honestly, I feel like he should be
He's
one of the greatest of all time.
quarterbacks ever, dude. Drew Brees, so
The
good.
thing is, he had great teams too. Like he had like solid ass teams, and he still didn't do it.
I
But I think Drew
think
Brees
he
is
overachieved on some of his teams because he was that good, and because of Sean Payton.
my
Sean
thing is
Payton
like
was a
stats don't
great
really
coach.
mean anything, but unfortunately, everything's based on stats
That's how we judge
because everything else is
careers, dude.
opinion based.
I'll tell you, Jim Kelly was the best quarterback ever.
It's fine.
No
That's
other
cool.
quarterback led their team
Man,
to 4 AFC championships.
We all got to be
in a
wrong
row.
sometimes. I mean,
Yep.
just
So
that's what
what?
it is.
But anyway, man, thank you everybody joining us on this long journey through the NFC North.
Damn, you just leaving like that? Not even a
No,
wave?
he didn't work.
No, I hit the wrong button. I can pull that excuse
through-
too. I hit the wrong
through the
tab. My
NFC
bad.
North.
I like it.
Looks
Learn
like
from you, man.
not a lot
Dude,
of faith.
Jay, man, thanks for being on the show, dog.
Yeah,
It was killer, man.
My pleasure. Glad I could be
Not-
on here.
Not a lot of faith in the construct of the NFC North to change. Looking for the
Start the lesson.
2023 season. So I'm pretty sure when we do our preview in a few months, that's right, it's a long off season, about the NFC North. I hope to have Jay in our preview, and I'm pretty sure the conversation will reflect what we
Be
just
the
had.
same.
Maybe we won't have a show. We'll just replay this one.
We'll just put Green Bay winners on the screen for like 2 hours.
It is, but
Just throw a flag
Oh.
of waving with a cheese head.
Yeah.
yeah.
My dad
Yeah.
actually bought me a cheese head hat and I didn't know what it was from for the longest time, because he was a truck driver back in the day when I was little, and
For
so
Swans.
he brought me one. And I didn't know what it was from for the longest time. I just
Dude.
thought it was like, why do you give me a cheese hat? Like, okay, cool.
That would have been crazy if in the long distance past we lived close to each other and we didn't know, and your dad was the Swans delivery for one of
He
our
actually did
orders.
deliver for Schwann's for
That's
a little
what I'm
bit.
saying, dude.
But
What
he
if
did
way
that in
back
Texas.
in the
When he was doing
day?
that, he worked for Schneider.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying crazy stuff. But anyway, Jay, my brother, I want to thank you. Thank you for joining us
Thanks for having me.
today, man, to talk about the NFC North. And everybody, we're going to try to work up something where my brother can come on with us to do a little special on the draft, because we got the draft coming up.
It's like right around the corner, man.
Yep.
Dude, the
Yeah.
NFL, it's
God.
the shortest season, but yet it maintains the headlines throughout the sport world, man. We ain't even playing games, but when you look at sport news, what leads it? Whatever the NFL's doing.
Yep.
But we're here. Bills Mafia, Cheesehead, NFL fan, just a fan of the sport.
That was great, Brett.
That was
Dude.
great. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Thanks for having me on. Thanks, Jay, dude. I appreciate
Thank
you
you,
being on,
Jay.
dude.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
Like always. And you were
And-
very informative, which I do appreciate.
Hey, I try.
Right. Dude,
Yeah.
right?
You need to give your brother some pointers before he gets on there.
Oh, dude, man. Dude, right?
I'm just playing Brett. I know you run the show, dog. I love you, man.
Oh, man.
Brett's like, shut up, just get off.
No, I ain't saying that, man. Not at all. But we're going to come back next week. We're going to start the AFC roundup. We're going to start off with the East. I don't know.
Cool.
I don't know. Who
Oh.
knows what we're going to start off with next week? But Jay, I want to thank you, my brother, for joining us, dude.
Of course.
Introducing you to the people here, man. NFL, I hope to have you on for a long time. Whenever you're available. Donnie, once again, my friends, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Brett.
This has been Through the Table, presented to you by FTB Sports. Go Bills. Let's go Buffalo. Bills Mafia. See y'all next week, man. Peace.